Alright, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to Black Ops 4, my first post-launch gameplay here on the channel. Should have been my second post-launch gameplay, but I'll get into why it wasn't here in just a moment. Using the ICR on Jungle with the Recon Specialist UAV Hellstorm Attack Chopper, so that is the loadout. Now let's get into my first impressions on this game. Right away, this launch was 10 times better than COD World War II's, maybe even more than 10 times, probably. The servers were working on launch, so by default, already a better launch than COD World War II. I don't know what Condry and Schofield were doing over there, but that game was dead in the water thanks to them, and by the time that they got promoted or fired, whichever it was, I don't remember what the story was that they left the company for, and they were replaced by some, I don't even know the guy's name, but they were replaced by somebody, and he was trying his hardest to revive that game, and he just couldn't do it. The game was dead in the water thanks to those guys, but anyway, this isn't about COD World War II. This is about Black Ops 4, which their launch was much, much better and much, much smoother. I was able to actually play online from the get-go. But yeah, launch was pretty good so far, and it's been pretty good up to this point. So, moving right along, I'm going to talk about theater mode. Theater mode is a little bit buggy. I don't exactly know what the problem is, but I do know that theater mode needs a couple of fixes, and you're going to see one of them here in just a moment when I use that Hellstorm that we just picked up. One problem I do get with the score streaks though real quick, and you're going to see the fail here that makes me need to talk about theater mode, because I go to switch to the YY and then look at that! I go to YY, I accidentally call in the Hellstorm, but what was that theater mode? What was that? Because that did not happen in game. I promise you that, but so theater mode's a little buggy. And you'll also see that the camos keep disappearing on the weapons that I'm picking up, because this Scar has the Tiger camo on it. And as you can see, it just kind of like flashes and then it finally appears. That didn't happen in game either. So I don't know. Theater mode's got some bugs. And as I said at the beginning of this video, theater mode kind of did me dirty. And my first gameplay should have been my very first match, which was a pretty decent TDM on Summit. And I did, like I said, pretty well, but theater mode decided to do me dirty. And when I recorded it, I didn't have any audio. Like, the guns in the theater film weren't making any sound when I was shooting them. The specialists weren't making any sound when they would talk to each other or whatever. There was no sound other than maybe my footsteps, and that was about it. There was pretty much no sound in the whole thing, and I didn't understand why, so I was like, okay, maybe I can just go back and record it again and everything will be normal. Maybe it's just a little glitch and I just have to relaunch the film in theater mode or whatever and try again. So I go to do that, and every time I would try to bring up the film, my game would crash. So, at least for now, I have the film bookmarked, and if it ever gets fixed, I will make sure to upload that match. But at least for now, I'm not going to be seeing that Summit gameplay. And I had another one on Firing Range. It wasn't exactly theater mode's fault, but as soon as the game ended, I had a triple Thresher match. It was a kill confirmed, as I said, on Firing Range. And as soon as the game ended, I got an error message saying game lobby closed. It never put the film in theater mode. So theater doesn't have any knowledge, apparently, of that match, and I cannot ever see that again either. So hopefully Treyarch can fix up theater mode, because theater mode is a lifesaver for me. It means if I am not recording and I happen to have a decent match like this one, I can just go back, load it up in good old theater mode, and be ready to rock. And since Sledgehammer and Infinity Ward have yet to pick up on theater mode being an amazing feature, Treyarch's got my back with theater mode in the Black Ops series. So anyway, moving right along. Weapon balancing. ARs are the way to go for right now. They said they've been taking feedback as to get some data for their first batch of weapon tuning, and all I can say is I hope they buff some of the SMGs, because some of these SMGs are just not very viable compared to the ARs. There's a couple good SMGs. I believe the SOG 9mm is a pretty good SMG, and the GK5, or it might be GKS, I can't tell in that small text with these old eyes. It's a pretty decent SMG. Sometimes it's actually a laser beam and just wrecks people, but at the same time, sometimes they just soak up your bullets and do no damage. But anyway, yeah, I think the SMGs could use a bit of a buff. The LMGs might need a slight slap on the wrist nerf, because some of those LMGs are like 3-shot machines, and with a 75 bullet clip, calm down there, buddy. But anyway, LMGs aren't that bad. The sniper balancing is pretty good. You have to be very, very good with a sniper to actually do anything really OP with them. So, snipers are doing okay for now. They're not that bad at the moment. I like them the way they are. Secondaries, I think the Strife pistol is really great, honestly. When I run out of ammo, it's my go-to. And I think it has a fire rate cap, but still a trigger finger does come in handy for that thing. So the pistols are pretty decently balanced. I think the combat knife is the worst. I know that you most of the time should be running around with a gun, but for anyone who's going for those combat knife camos, trying to get whatever the secret camo is this year, that combat knife honestly has less of a range than it did in Black Ops 3. And you could get all those DLC melee weapons in Black Ops 3 and still only have the range of the combat knife. But when you're like right next to somebody and you try to knife them, you'll just like swing at the air and miss them. You could literally be touching them and it'll still miss. So I don't know. I don't want the knife to have like a super lunge or anything. I just want it to actually work when I'm in touching distance of somebody. That route wraps up my little rant on the weapons, but moving on to the last and not least, the specialist. I think the only one that needs some changes is Torque, because that toaster shield of his and the razor wire, I don't know what it is, but I just don't like how it becomes Camper's best friend. I know battery's a pretty good counter, but not all the time. It really depends on if you have the map control to even fight back against him. But other than that, all the specialists are pretty nice. Recon's pretty good. They're pretty balanced. But anyway, that about wraps it up here for this match before I ramble for too long. I don't know when my next gameplay will be, so please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more, and I will try to get back very soon. Peace.